So hello and welcome back to another video, and today we're talking about Let the Train Go Past. These kangaroo stamps. So these are the first stamps that Australia did issue, and they were issued basically by Republican members of the Australian government at the time. So from the Australian stamp catalogue, I believe this is like 1982 or something like that, it says, okay, although Australia's been in existence since 1981, post office immediately was organised on a federal basis. The first Commonwealth postage stamps were not issued until 1913. And that's why when you see the colonial stamps, you'll see they do have an A in the watermark, so that represents Australia, instead of like V for Victoria or NSW for New South Wales. Okay, there's political angering on the design to be adopted at the period of considerable anti-royal sentiment. So Republican movement's been around for at least 150 years. Sentiment and existed within Australia, and the Republicans, who were extremely vocal in federal politics, strenuously opposed incorporation of the head of the British monarch. And this group managed to carry the day, resulting in the first postage stamps with the Australian kangaroo in the map design. When the Fisher government, so Andrew Fisher, was defeated in 1913, it was the first act of the Cook government to order the issue of series of stamps with King George V's head. And they were issued in 1914, and they just pretty much decided to keep both of these issues. So these ones are printed up until 1936, and in 1937 they released a pretty much an Australian flora and a monarch series of stamps. So if we look at the actual stamp, you can see, if we turn it over, the watermark is A. So this has A all throughout it. You can see it quite clearly, and it has a crown over top of the A. So that is the watermark on that sixpence. If we look at the watermark on it has a single crown, so the crown is there, and an A down below it. And this one has been hinged before. Someone's written on it in pencil. Look at the 2D, not 2D, 2 pence, and this says, don't know where DHAM. If anyone knows of a place name like that, they'll be very welcome. Okay, so we've got a crown and an A down below as well. You can quite clearly see. So these are the watermarks on the first stamp series. So I only have these 5 stamps. Depending on the actual stamp, these have different prices. So for those specific stamps, I've 2D, which is grey. These are the different dates they were issued: January 13, January 1915, 1920, 15 to 24, 1929, 30, and 1931, 36. So we've got greys. These are in American dollars. But 71 is roughly about $100. Then you got $7 for the 2D. That's in used. So the first number is unused and the second number is used. So the ones I have is probably, depending, I'm not too sure which one of these, but they seem to be, these are similar values. Then the last one, which is most likely what I got in use, is probably only about $10. So that's Australian. The 3D, 1913, it's roughly $12 American, so about $18 Australian. Ultramarine, I would say it's probably the last issue, so about $10 in use condition. The 6D wasn't issued up until 1915, and this issue, obviously they used two different colours. So this is the brown one, could be any of them. The red brown, I would say, is probably the last issue. And for the 2D, I believe the 2D is the purple brown. So in use condition, it's about $3 to $15, and it depends on the actual watermark that you can get with these stamps. But if you look at these ones, that one's quite faded, so this it's probably been exposed to the sun for quite some time, or it also could be something wrong with the printing. And another thing you need to know about stamps is that the 5D to 2 pounds, the kangaroo is a black colour, so brownish black, so that is different. And this stamp was used in Kalgoorlie in Western Australia, so I quite like these stamps. Out of all these Australian stamps, these are the only ones I'm really interested in. All the other Australian stamps are pretty standard. So this one has the crown with the single letter A, so that is a difference. So the single letter watermark and the crown is generally 1913 to 1915, so they're the more expensive stamps. So in that case, then this expense is probably worth about $10 to $20. If you get multiple watermarks, so I'm not too sure if any of these do have multiple watermarks. No, that just has the single crown. Yep. Then they are from the 1929 to 36 issue. I don't seem to have any of these here, but you know, the more cheaper version is the ones closer to 1936. Now there are no amount issued that we know of, except for the 1 pence coin, which had about 700 million stamps, and that's the cheapest. So obviously these all had a lower print run, and they're just a nice stamp to get if you're into Australian stamps. So the kangaroo with Australian map, controversial at the time, but now they're pretty iconic for Australian stamps. These are pretty much more sought after than the Georgia 5th issue. And I'll leave a link down below to eBay so you can look for any of these stamp issues on eBay. They're not very rare to get, but you know, if you're going to put a bid on them, you probably bid quite a few dollars on these stamps here. So I believe I paid about $20 for these, though I can't remember. Thank you very much, and have an awesome stamp collecting time. Thank you and goodbye.